a bit of a mix-up, so apologies for that. That's what happens when two people try to go live at once on the same streaming device. Anyways, just making sure that people can hear me on this. But yeah, I think you can. Okay. I think we're good. So if you're looking for Fast Eddie Fear, I will drop that link in chat and you can go there. I know that you guys, many of you in here, are probably wondering why you're not seeing Fast Eddie on the screen. Well, like I said, we had some technical difficulties, but again, I will post it in this chat and you can make your way over there. All right. All right, Jeff says we're good, so I think we're good to go. Okay, cool. Let's see. Let me fix my screen. Had to scramble there for a bit, but I think we're going to be good. I will probably get off of here. There's NBA. Look at the link. Dibs D. Look at the link right above from Awesemo Daily Fantasy Sports. Right up there. Click that link, and that's your NBA link. Yep. 4 games today. Early start time, so everything is a little bit rushed. But the good thing is I think this game is going to be similar to the last one in that I don't think we're going to see any changes. Despite Carolina losing, you see some teams adjust. It sounded like they're not going to adjust. It's going to be Razik in net. 2.5 implied total for the Canes, 3.1 for the Caps. Pretty standard to what we saw a couple nights ago. Holtby in net again for the Caps. I thought that was a pretty lucky win for Washington, honestly. I mean, Carolina had a chance to tie it up a couple times. The shot attempts were way in Carolina's favor. I mean, just they crushed them as far as shot attempts go. They're going to do that probably every game, I would think. So, IMAX, just search DraftKings and FanDuel NBA Live Before Lock on the search bar, and it'll be the first thing that comes up. So, yeah, that'll get you to Fast Eddie Fear. Or just go to our channel and find the other live link right now, and you'll get to him. So, once again, I am all over Carolina 1. Washington get a roll over Carolina. That's what people think. Washington got rolled, especially in the third period last game. Granted, they were chasing, so score and venue adjusted. It wasn't that bad. Carolina looked so fast, and then they just got deflated. Yeah, I mean, Washington was probably better in the first period. The other two, I think it was Carolina was the better team. Caps, if they're going to capitalize on their goals, like if they're going to capitalize on that few scoring chances, then yeah, they're gonna win the series. They'll probably win every game in the series if they're going to be that efficient. But they're going to have games where they're not that efficient. Carolina's goaltending, not good. Carolina's top line was solid. Even though they did get broken up, they're supposed to be back together to start the game. Good thing about this game is that we're going to know in 45 minutes or so whether or not that holds true. I hope they are together, of course. I think people are probably pretty sour on this line. I am not. I loved what I saw. IMAX. Just search in the search bar. DraftKings and FanDuel NBA DFS Live Before Lock. You will, I 100% guarantee, you will end up with Fast Eddie Fear in front of your face. So we're going to see Kuznetsov, oddly enough, going up against Aho, Niederreiter, and Williams. That's what they did last time, and they won, so they probably think they're going to keep everything the same, which is what most teams do. Backstrom, Ovechkin, and Wilson didn't really hard match against anyone. They kind of saw a little bit of the second line, a little bit of the third line for Carolina. Third line looked really good in the third period. Martinook and Svechnikov together have been really good this entire season. Svechnikov, a couple goals. The line didn't do anything crazy. But I love Carolina 1. I love Carolina 3 for their price if you're trying to get to like a Boston 1 or something like that. And on the cap side, I'm going to have the most exposure to the Backstrom line. I wonder where they're going to fall in terms of ownership. I think I've got them at about 15%. Let me see where I'm at. 13%? Yeah, I think I'm pretty comfortable with that. It may be a little bit underweight, but I'm full stacking it. I don't know if Wilson will be 18%. If Ovi's 25 or 30, Wilson still might be 12%. So I might be closer to the field on the entire stack, which is exactly what I want. Yeah, apparently it is. Apparently it is, salty old man. The Eller line, I think, is also pretty interesting for the Caps. I just think the second line is also going to have a tough time if they're going to hard match against Aho, Niederreiter, and Williams, just because my feelings on that line. Whether or not Carolina 1 can finish, whether or not Carolina can finish is going to decide this series because they're going to outshoot them. They're going to outchance them. It's just a matter of whether or not they can have games where they put it all together and score 3 or 4 goals. I think they're going to be able to. I think it's going to be a good series. They could also get swept and put 40 shots on goal every game. That is a very real possibility. So hopefully people are sour on Carolina 1. The price is just too cheap. I like Slavin a lot. I like Hamilton a lot. I hate that neither of them are on the top power play. Still, Falk is awful. I mean, he's really bad, but he is 4,900 and he is on the top power play, playing on the top power play with the line that I really like. So, I still think you can play Dougie and or Slavin with Carolina 1. I don't have any issue with that. But the guy who's probably the better correlation play is Falk. So, yeah, do with that what you will. On the other side, I think Carlson is, again, one of my favorite defensemen, similar to what he was 2 nights ago. Dougie is a beast. Yeah, he was pretty quiet, I think. I mean, he quietly had like 7 or 8 shot attempts. So, that was good to see. I like Carlson, obviously, just because he's a guy who has upside by himself, but he's also correlates well to Backstrom, Ovi, and Wilson. And that foursome isn't even that tough to get in on your as a 4-man stack, with Wilson being under 5K and Backstrom only 5,700. Okay. Orlov, I also like as a punt for 3,400. Yeah, Rayrock, I mean, my God, Falk's a liability out there. He would be irrelevant for DFS if he didn't play in the top unit. He's bad. Okay, next game. Stars, Preds. We've got a 6 Eastern start time, so another funky one. 2.3 implied total for the Stars, 2.8 for the Preds. Ben Bishop in net against likely Pekka Rinne. Stars up 1-0 in this series. I believe it was a 3-2 win or something like that. Would expect this to be a pretty low-scoring series all around. I don't have either of these two teams on a team level being super great matchups to target against. That being said, I liked what I saw from the numbers for Nashville 1. Nashville 2 was a little bit disappointing. They were worse defensively than I thought they were going to be. I thought they'd be able to kind of run over that Faxa line, and they just weren't really able to. So I think they got out-attempted. Scoring chances were pretty even. So I do like Nashville. I also, you guys are talking about in chat, Bishop at 7,200. I think this is another winnable game. Of course, it was a pretty even game, and then Nashville just can't get anything going on their power play. So 7,200 against a team, yeah, he's a slight dog, but he's going to be low-owned. Against a team who just cannot get anything going on the power play is certainly something to consider as like a one-off guy. So Preds 1, I also think is underpriced. Preds 1 and Carolina 1, the ultimate. That would be the Jake lineup right there. If I was just playing one. Actually, I don't know if I would actually do that, but those are two lines with just sick numbers, and lately they've let us down for sure. What else here? What else? I expected the Bonino line to go up against Sagan, Radulov, and Dickinson, and that wasn't really the case. We also saw Janmark with Sagan and Radulov last game, and then Jamie Benn moved up with Sagan and Radulov. So I'm debating back and forth whether or not I want to just go full Dallas 1, like Sagan, Radulov, and Benn together, because Benn's only 4,900. Or if I want to keep Benn with Rupe Hintz and Matt Zuccarello. I'll probably do a little bit of both, but I think I'm going to end up playing some Sagan, Radulov, and Jamie Benn lineups together. Heiskanen was a guy I think we were on. I wish I was on him heavier because I did like him at 4,200. I think he scored once, had an assist. And then Klingberg at 4,800. He's just underpriced. Even though it's not a great matchup against Nashville, I still think he's going to grade out as a really good value. And he does grade out as a good value for me. So I am ending up on quite a bit of Klingberg. On the other side, Ellis again, his price went up to 4,500. So a little bit of a jump there. But I still think he's perfectly fine. And he's a guy that he was like 10% owned. He'll probably be less than that in this game. Subban and Yossi, I am more on the Yossi side of that argument when they're priced closely together. All right, so just to recap, I guess I didn't really talk about, I talked about Sagan, Radulov, and Benn. That's how I'd like to play it and just limit my exposure. I don't think Dallas is going to score a bunch here. But if they do, I think it's going to come from their big guys, Sagan, Radulov, Benn, Klingberg, those type of guys. And those guys are cheap. So short slate, raw points is what you need. If they can somehow muster up 2 goals together, you're going to be in a pretty good spot like we saw last night. Pretty low scores around the industry. All right, let's move it on. Toronto, Boston, 2.7 implied total. 3.3 Bruins total, and Frederik Andersen and Tuukka Rask in net. Is that a 1-9? What's 1-9 Cubs T? I mean, it's a Cubs T. I don't know what 1-9 means. Gritty matchup. This is a gritty matchup? How is this gritty? By the way, did you guys see Kucherov suspended? Very surprising to me. So, I cannot believe they suspended him. Down 2-0. I thought, 1-1, they'd probably give him a game, but down 2-0 there. NHL's comfortable with putting the nail on the coffin. Almost. They got 1 foot in the coffin. Tampa Bay right now with Kucherov suspended. So we shall see. They could still win a game without Kucherov. I'm not really that worried. He should have been suspended, I agree. I'm just surprised that they did it. Anyways, Leafs, Bruins, and last time they went up against each other, Tavares line was the nuts. Tavares and Marner especially. I think Hyman got the 0, so you'll deal with those games every once in a while. In general, I think it's been more profitable to actually leave Hyman on your Tavares-Marner stacks this season. But in this game, hard to get away from the top 6 for me, for Boston. The Matthews line, while Matthews and Andreas Janssen generated a bunch of scoring chances, they also gave up a ton. 21 shot attempts they gave up in game 1. A lot of that was against Krejci. Bergeron went up against Tavares and Marner. It was a pretty even matchup. I think over the long run, Boston 1's going to get the best of them. So hard not to like Boston 1. I'm only saying the most obvious thing in the world, but I also like Boston too, in what I think is going to be a pretty high-paced matchup with the Matthews line. This third line, I don't really want to play much of it. I might get to a share 2 out of 80 lineups or whatever. I have 88 lineups. They're not really my favorite. I mean, PP2 tags for all 3 of them. Doesn't really matter all that much when your power play 1 is Bergeron, Marchand, Pastrnak, DeBrusk, and Krug. Boston comes back. I think this is going to be a long series. I think Boston's going to win the series, but Toronto is really good. So this is the line I'm targeting, Matthews line. Keep an eye on whether or not Nylander is up with Matthews and Andreas Janssen at game time, because last game I know Nylander played a bunch in Kapanen's spot. So these two could flip-flop. That I'm assuming that was towards the end of the game as well. I'm not sure if they'll keep that, or maybe they'll go to that at some point during the game. But just something to keep an eye on that I noticed when looking through the natural stat trick report. All right. Again, Boston top 6. Toronto 2 is going to be my highest exposure here. It will have some Kadri, Nylander / Kapanen with Marleau. I would like a Kadri one-off if you are not doing the traditional 3-3 forward stacks. But if you are, you got to deal with Marleau. He's 3,300, so you can deal with that. You don't need a ton for them to be worth it. You need an expensive stack to go off. You need a Colorado 1 or a Calgary 1 or Boston 1 to go off for them to be worth it anyways. That pass from Kadri to Nylander was sweet. I'm trying to think if I saw that one. Maybe not. McAvoy played huge minutes the other night, which you would expect. Actually, now that I'm thinking it, I failed to check whether or not he played with the Bergeron line. So let me check on that really quick. Or if he just kind of played with everyone. So Krug, power play 1 guy. Again, he's not a guy I love playing as a one-off. It's hard for me to imagine scenarios that happen often where Krug goes off and Boston 1 does not have a big game. So in general, I like to play Krug with Boston 1 or kind of leave him alone. I think you can also play McAvoy with Boston 1 or Chara for that matter. But McAvoy would be my preferred guy, more of the peripheral stat accumulator. And he played 11 minutes with Boston 1 at 5-on-5. In total, McAvoy, yeah, okay, so he played a little over, almost 12 minutes in total with Boston 1, which is extra valuable. So 5K, again, sneaky correlation there. LOL, hot take. Which one, Jeff, about McAvoy being over Chara? Yeah, I think that is a hot take. I'm kidding. That's I think, a very obvious take. Mike Smith. Mike Smith will score an empty net goal. Oh, maybe you're talking about that as your hot take. Yeah. He was looking for it the other day. Yeah. It's always funny to hear the announcers talk about how valuable that is to play the puck. I don't think that's valuable at all. I think at best it is a neutral thing, and at worst you do Mike Smith stuff and you pass the puck to the opposing team and they score an easy goal. So whatever, that's just me. If you're punting here on Boston side, Carlo would be my other guy that I think you can go to. Morgan Riley at 5,400. I'm not really interested in. The guy I'm most interested in is actually Muzzin for 4,100. A little bit tougher to play him with Gardner back, but his price has also come down. But yeah, I do like Muzzin a little bit. And that will do it for that game. We're flying through here. Avalanche and Flames, 2.6 implied total for the Avs, 3.5 for the Flames. Philip Grubauer and Mike Smith in net. The aforementioned Mike Smith. Just like we said yesterday with Martin Jones, there's going to be a Martin Jones game. I don't know when it's going to be. It happened to be yesterday, and we took advantage of it. Hopefully you took advantage of it. I kind of forgot to ask you guys how the night went. Yes, Steven, of course, Patrick Nemeth hammer. Yeah, don't play Patrick Nemeth. I always feel like I have to say that so people don't say, "Well, this guy got me 0 points to tweet at me or whatever." But yeah, no need to play Patty Nemeth tonight. You could play Fantenberg or Zadorov. I always forget how to say his name. But the Mike Smith game at some point during the series, I mean, it just has to come. When he's hot, he's fun, and he can win you games like he did. I mean, he played well. There's no doubt about it. Is he going to sustain that for the series? I don't think so. Double A value or double A grade for Osimo. I'm trying to think what I have. Smith was not a good goalie this year. I mean, Smith's fine. I'm not a fan really, but yeah, okay, so I've got super spread out ownership. I actually do have a decent amount of Smith, but I also have, I think, pretty easily overweight on Colorado, specifically the top line. They're just going to play so many minutes this series. If it's close at all, if it's within 2 or 3 goals, Colorado won. McKinnon and Landeskog especially are going to play literally 25 minutes like they did last game, which you don't think of like that's more of an NBA thing. It's an event sport, I get it, but the difference between playing 18 minutes and 25 is crazy. I mean, it's just a huge bump. So you kind of manually have to adjust these projections a little bit. Rantanen also played about 7 or 8 minutes with Landeskog and McKinnon last game. So similar to what I was talking about with Sagan and Radulov with Ben, you can also go McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen. And honestly, it's kind of one of the cheapest prices we've had all season for Colorado 1 if you do put Rantanen on that top line. It would just be 19.5. Is that right? Am I doing my math correct? So that'd be 13.5, right? And then, yeah, 19.4, sorry. Yo, that Burns overturned goal was horrible. Yeah, what was that? That was trash, but whatever. He didn't even touch Fleury. Fleury didn't even try to make the save. He just tried to draw the penalty, and they rewarded him for that. It's ridiculous. So you can go with Landeskog, McKinnon, and Rantanen. That's something that I'm going to mess around with and see how I like my crunches, my exposures. Mark Smith, damn Jake, you're a Cubs fan. I used to like your shows. Go Sox. Yeah, I am a Cubs fan. Fleury looked like a circus clown last night. Trying to keep Vegas in the series. I mean, Vegas is going to keep themselves in the series. Vegas is going to be fine. When they did put that line together, all the other Calgary lines did what they wanted against the random Colorado lines. Yeah, agreed. So I think, I mean, I'm anticipating Rantanen goes up, or Rantanen, maybe he starts the game with McKinnon and Landeskog, and they just go together. Maybe not, but he's going to be there at some point, and it's not going to be for a minute. It's going to be for multiple minutes, especially if Calgary is leading. So they're just going to play like every other shift. It's crazy. You just don't see these kind of minutes. They're all top power play together. So I'm kind of talking myself into playing Rantanen with McKinnon and Landeskog, just making that manual change on Cruncher. You can still play Kerfoot, but just know he's getting kicked off that line at some point. So if he gets there early, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. If not, he's going to be playing with a lot less talented line mates. And he's not top power play anyways. That being said, it's still a tough matchup for Colorado. They're just playing so many minutes that even if they score one goal, if they score two, I think the shots are going to be okay for them. They're so good at generating. They did an okay job generating against Backlund, Tkachuk, and Frolik, who hard matched them. Speaking of Backlund, Tkachuk, and Frolik, they were the other line I wrote up. They were incredible that game. I mean, from an eye test perspective and just like numbers as well, so good at generating. And if you just think about it logically, they want a hard match. McKinnon and Landeskog. McKinnon and Landeskog are playing huge minutes, so that means that Calgary 2 is going to play huge minutes. So yeah, I'm really on Calgary 2. Hard not to like Calgary 1 as well, especially if we're anticipating Rantanen going up to Colorado 1. That just leaves very little to be worried about outside of that top line, and the Monahan line won't go up much against McKinnon, Landeskog, and Rantanen / Kerfoot. So, Calgary depth gonna roll? Yeah, I think they could. This fourth line, man. This guy, Mangiapane, he's always making plays out there, man. So if you wanted to get really wild, I know they play decent minutes as well. You could go with Calgary's fourth line. They've just got way better depth. So it's really Colorado. Oh man, he only played 8 minutes last game. It felt like he played forever, but I guess they're not going to put him up against this line who's playing half the game. So I guess that makes sense. Maybe next series you want to use them. Okay, so Calgary top 6, especially the second line, I really love. Hard to argue with the kind of minutes we're expecting them to play. Colorado 1, you play Kerfoot, you can play Rantanen. I think I'm going to go with Rantanen and get maybe some unique combos there. Hope for some power plays for Colorado 1. And then I like Tyson Barrie a ton. The other guy, like I said, the other guy you can punt with is Zadorov. Gio is going to be my highest exposed player again. I just don't see a reason for him not to be. The shot attempts weren't great last game. I think he had 5. But top power play with Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm. He's going to play huge minutes. Yeah, he's just a stud. Mangiapane translates to eat bread in Italian. Interesting. Who's at home where, Bobby? This game? Calgary's at home. Okay. Am I missing anything? Do you guys want to know anything else? I don't know. I feel like I covered everything. Like I said, we just went over this slate a couple days ago. Once the series start to get in game 3 and 4, we will see some new matchups as the venue switches. So maybe that'll be more interesting to kind of dig in and talk about some stuff. Yeah, Calgary's at home, Bobby. This slate is pretty straightforward. I think just like last night, it just depends on what you kind of want to do here if you are playing Dallas, and then here if you are playing Colorado. The rest of it, a couple of my favorite lines. Calgary 2, I like the Krejci line quite a bit. I think they'll be underowned. Of course, Boston 1. I mean, if you can get to them. Carolina 1 is going to be my highest exposed line. Just full transparency. They just grade out so well for me. They didn't get their last game, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to play them this game. Let's see. What do we got? 10 minutes until we get pregame skate here. Yeah, that's probably good. You guys need to go make your lineups. I need to go finish my lineups. So we'll get out of here early. Just wanted to give you guys a quick show. and just kind of tell you what I'm seeing, if I caught anything interesting from looking at the game reports and such. Appreciate you guys sticking with us as we had some issues with the NBA stream going on. Get to osmo.com, go on the MLB ownership projections. We have player projections that are from some of the top players in the entire industry. EMAC and I had a strategy show this morning. If you want to go check that out for MLB, there will be a live before lock with Chris Baggs and EMAC doing the double duty like myself today. MMA, NASCAR, NBA playoffs, like I said, we've got you covered with everything. So should be a fun day of sports. I will be rooting on my Hurricanes that I've adopted. Go Canes. I will see you guys on Monday. Good luck.